Thanks for joining us on this edition of National Focus. I'm Lourianne Graham Carter. Coming up, government to fund Geothermal Energy Plant. 2016 cruise season opened and work continues at Douglas Charles Airport. Stay with us for details of these and other stories after this.
Yell and tell. If someone tries to abuse you, tell until someone believes you and they do something about it.
For more information on child abuse or to report suspected cases on child abuse, contact the Social Welfare Division on 33 Great Marlborough Street or call 266-3020 or 266-3080.
Thank you for staying with us. Honorable Prime Minister and Minister for Finance Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit has revealed that government will proceed in constructing a small geothermal plant in Dominica. Speaking at the debate on the Geothermal Resources Development Bill in Parliament on Monday, the Honorable Prime Minister stated that the government will take all risks associated with the construction of the facility following negotiations with various organizations.
The government will go it alone with regards to this small plant. As you know, we have been negotiating with different groups of people. That did not come through. And I think, in retrospect, Madam Speaker, because they had other considerations. They had other considerations. They had other considerations, like any partnership you're discussing. They may have other considerations. And there were some issues among themselves, and they figure it might be in their interest not to proceed with the project. But what this did, Madam Speaker, is that it gave us a better opportunity for the government and people of Dominica to not only own the resource, Madam Speaker, but to own entirely the geothermal plant of Dominica. And what we're saying as a government is that the government of Dominica will take all the risk associated with the construction of the plant. Once the plant is constructed and we are selling to the grid, we will now invite Dominicans, because it is our intention, Madam Speaker, to make available to the Dominican public about 50% of the company, if not 100%. To make a minimum, Madam Speaker, of 50% available by way of shares in that company to the Dominican public. We will be in the business of generating, and it's our intention to sell to Dominic, and Dominic will now pass it on to the consumers.
He noted that this change will have a considerable impact on Dominica's economy.
This is an effort to reduce on our import bill, reduce on the trade deficit, because the importation of diesel and petroleum products, Madam Speaker, is a significant contributor to the import bill. And we would reduce on our foreign exchange, leaving the currency union, and that we would bring back our jobs to Dominica. We would grow the economy.
The Dominica leader revealed that other than the international partners looking to come on board in the future, resources have been made available through the Citizenship by Investment program.
The World Bank, Madam Speaker, because of the exceptional relationship this government has with the World Bank, Madam Speaker, the president of the World Bank sent his officers to Dominica, Madam Speaker, to indicate to this government that the World Bank is prepared to provide the financing both in grants and highly concessional loans to finance the geothermal plant. And that official made a presentation to the cabinet. The Caribbean Development Bank, Madam Speaker, has some sources of financing for renewable energy and for climate-related projects. And they've been literally begging us to accept their source of financing. And this government, Madam Speaker, we, the Dominican people, through this cabinet, Madam Speaker, has committed 15 million US dollars, Madam Speaker. 15 million US dollars funds from the Citizenship by Investment Program to go towards the financing of the geothermal plant in Dominica, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Prime Minister noted that the project will significantly reduce the current cost of electricity, benefiting the country on a whole.
If we can reduce the cost of energy to the private sector, we will create more jobs in our country, Madam Speaker. More jobs. So, Madam Speaker, if they were really in support of this, Madam Speaker, they would have been standing on their tables to speak, Madam Speaker, to say how much they support this geothermal. Because that geothermal, Madam Speaker, the experts have advised us, Madam Speaker, the experts have advised us. And this is why we say it is a transformational project.
And in other major news, the Roseau cruise ship berth was bustling with excitement as the songs of cultural music as well as welcoming nationals greeted the first ship of the 2016 cruise season. GIS's camera took to the bayfront where passengers from the Celebrity Summit made their first steps into Dominica. Chief Executive Officer of the Dominica Air and Seaports Authority, DASPA, Benno Badwell, shared DASPA's expectations of the 2016 cruise season.
We expect to have an increased number of vessels coming in for the season. We have an increased number of calls from Britannia, P&O, where they're putting in 10 calls compared to 2 calls last year. We are looking forward to increasing the quality of service that is provided to the cruise ships and to the passengers. And this year, that is where a lot of time is going to be spent on improving the quality of service right through.
He shared some new initiatives that are being implemented to improve Dominica's reviews on the international market.
As you've heard from the Minister of Tourism, there are a number of things that are going in new this season. Every passenger vehicle going with more than 4 passengers would have a tour guide. And the reason for that is that we got better scores when we were reviewed, when the people went on organized tours with tour guides on board. And we think that we need to continue to work on that. We had a score of 8.5 when we got that, and out of 10. And we believe that that will help us, because if the passengers speak positively about Dominica in the reviews, it will help us to be able to better speak with the cruise lines. So that's one of the things that we're really working hard this year. We have spoken with the taxi drivers, we've spoken with all the service providers to ensure that they understand fully what's involved. And I believe that they have given us their undertaking that they will improve on the service that they give, even the quality of the vehicles and so on that they utilize. And we believe it's an all-round effort to be able to improve the quality of service this season.
The DASPA CEO highlighted the improved tourist sites following Tropical Storm Erica.
So a considerable amount of work has been done in several of the areas that were affected mostly by the roads and some of the things that happened there. We are still very fortunate that a lot of the sites were not damaged during Erica. And what we are seeking to do is, we were blessed in some cases where we got some new features coming in for those persons to enjoy. And I know it's a lot of tough work, and I want to take the opportunity to thank the Ministry of Public Works for the tremendous amount of work they've done thus far to try to improve the quality of the road network. What we are saying, hopefully in the Trafalgar area and the adjoining roads there, I think a concerted effort is going to go in to ensure that the roads in Wharton, Waven and so on can be improved. Because as you know, the valley is the heart of the tourism industry, in that lots of people go in there. So we're hoping that given all the additional things that we put in, that Dominica will stand to benefit greatly from the influx of the cruise passengers.
He encouraged all stakeholders involved in the tourism industry to put their best foot forward.
Every tourism provider, every service provider who have to interact with the tourists, I'm saying give up your best, because if our quality of service improves and if we exceed the expectations of the cruise visitors, certainly Dominica will benefit. And as a result of that, the earnings from tourism will also increase. Last year we earned 18 million US dollars from cruise. We expect to do better this year. And these are some of the things that we're looking for, because the spin-off effect in tourism is great. And we want to ensure that, as persons get employed within the industry, that there will be money in circulation, and in fact it will help the economy. So what we want to ensure that those persons who provide the service, what they want is an increased number of persons coming to the island. And we know that we are at a time when we have the World Creole Music Festival, we have Creole in the Park, and also our 40th anniversary of our independence. And what we want people to clearly do is to enjoy themselves while they're in Dominica. So I'm saying to the taxi driver, to the tour operator, to all the service providers, let's make these people happy so that they can come not only on a cruise ship, but they can come for a vacation here in Dominica and say that this is the best country on earth.
GIS News also caught up with Director of Tourism and CEO of the Discover Dominica Authority, Colin Piper, who shared the Division of Tourism's hopes for the season.
We expect all stakeholders to do their best. I think everybody is aware of the importance of the cruise industry as it relates to economic activity. As you can see, there's a hustle and a bustle on the bayfront today. I think everyone is aware of what we have tried to do in the off-season as it relates to point by point addressing the issues from the BRIA report. And so this is a year where we will have to see whether some of the changes we have made are working. And the result we expect is greater guest experience, greater revenue to the stakeholders on island. So that is ultimately what we want to do. And we hope that all of the stakeholders come on board, right? The taxi drivers, the vendors, the tour operators, everybody comes on board.
He revealed that the division hopes to hit 300,000 visitors this season.
So we have a few additional calls and a few additional visitors. We're going to hit, I think, the 300,000 mark this year. So that's good news for all involved. That would mean incremental revenue, because every ship that comes in has a series of tours, and so that happens. So we just, again, want to stress the importance of the cruise sector to the tourism and hospitality industry in general, and want to implore everybody who has a part to play in it directly to make sure they do their best.
The Director of Tourism had some words of advice for all stakeholders involved in the tourism industry.
This is the season where we need to put our best foot forward. We need to utilize the training that we've had over the summer, and we need to do what we think is right for the guests, so that when they go back through word of mouth, Dominica will get a high score. We have consistently spoken about two things: increased revenue for the cruise line and for the stakeholders, and an improved guest experience. A simple smile, some instructions, treating the guests fairly. These sorts of things go a long way to improving the destination's score. And when you improve the score and you improve the ranking, you put forth a better case for the cruise lines to lobby on your behalf to come to Dominica. So if we're not doing it here in Dominica, the other islands are doing it. And if their score is higher, then the cruise lines have a difficulty to push Dominica. So it's incumbent on all of us to make sure that we do that.
In other news, the Douglas Charles Airport, the main port of entry into the island by air travel, has been proven to be a top priority for the government of Dominica. The Honorable Minister for Public Works and Ports, Senator Miriam Blanchard, assured citizens that the airport, while safe, is being further rehabilitated for passenger and motorist safety. In that vein, a major project was developed at the airport in Melvin Hall aimed at restoring its safe operations, implementing storm repairs while improving flood protection. Phase 1 of the project, estimated at $31.2 million, is being funded by the Citizenship by Investment Program.
Outstanding works related to Phase 1 of this project include the grassing of the shoulders, reconstruction of the second half of the apron, and 2 taxiways, as well as the extension of a seawall and reconstruction of the road and drainage east of the airport on the road leading to Londonderry.
Phase 2, provided for in the 2016-2017 fiscal year, will further increase resilience of the airport to weather events like Erica.
Through the construction of additional river defense structures, dredging, and river training. Today, work continues to advance on the major works at Douglas Charles Airport. In fact, Madam Speaker, a milestone of the project was just reached last week with the reconstruction of roughly half of the apron and taxiways. Inspectors from ECHO, the Eastern Caribbean Civil Aviation Authority, were on island towards the end of last week, and I am proud to announce that we have received approval from ECHO for its use.
Meanwhile, a gift from the government of Trinidad and Tobago, solar lights, has been installed. The new taxiway and apron were also commissioned last week. You are watching National Focus. More when we return.
Let's have some fun, eh?
I'm not ready for your kind of fun yet.
But everybody else is doing it.
But I'm not everybody else. I'm me, and I want to do well in school.
Well, you definitely get an A for attitude.
I plan to get an A in life, and then I'll think of your kind of fun.
So what am I to do in the meantime?
You'll survive.
Say no when you're not ready. Use condoms when you are.
Welcome back. 14 months following Tropical Storm Erica, Dominica is doing well. This is in large part to the tremendous work being demonstrated by the Dominica Labour Party administration. The Honourable Minister for Public Works and Ports, Senator Miriam Blanchard, during the debate of the supplementary appropriation last week, discussed projects being undertaken by her ministry. These projects, she stated, are government's commitment to ensuring the well-being and safety of road users. A number of the projects at the community level have been focused on restoration and rehabilitation of the island's infrastructure. The Honourable Senator described rehabilitation along the Lourianne to Bagatelle Main Road as divided into 6 lots.
A total of 5 contractors were engaged. The cost of those works, $3.7 million. All of these works have been completed, except for the large box culvert near the Geneva playing field, which is roughly 90% complete.
Meanwhile, in the Roseau Valley, a major project was budgeted for in the sum of $4.9 million.
5 projects have since been completed. The designs for others are continuing. In addition to those, Madam Speaker, this working government recently tendered and signed contracts with 4 local contractors for the rehabilitation of 1.4 kilometers of the Watton-Waven Road and another to establish the link between Watton-Waven and Trafalgar. These contracts were valued at $2.5 million, and I am pleased to announce that work is progressing smoothly.
From Castle Comfort to Egliston, 9 lots were completed to the tune of $1.2 million. Along the E.O. Libla Highway on the west coast, construction to address a major road edge failure in Dubla is complete.
The preparation of designs continue for other interventions along that highway. And Madam Speaker, I would like to take this opportunity to reassure residents along the E.O. Libla Highway that additional work to address the road edge failures will soon follow.
Meanwhile, along the Dr. Nicholas J. Liverpool Highway, a project to correct a major edge failure at the Bells Bridge has been complete. As it relates to other works along that route, she explained.
A contract was also recently awarded for the construction of a new wing wall for the Melville Hall Bridge, as well as addressing a failed drainage structure. Design works are ongoing for other projects in that area.
In the supplementary estimates, $11.7 million was allocated for works in that area. Another area seriously affected by the storm was from Bois Diable to Delis. Assessments along that road were estimated at $4.6 million.
Recently, we signed 5 contracts for works totaling $2.2 million. These include the construction of a large box culvert structure in Victoria, Delis. I expect work to begin within a week. Again, following my assurance and that of the parliamentary representative and the Honourable Minister for Education, we have again kept our promise to the people of the East.
The Honourable Minister stated that the majority of the devastation caused by August 27, 2015 storm was due to flooding. An initial assessment showed that 4 communities were still at risk if left unattended.
The government moved in quickly and engaged contractors to dredge those rivers to the tune of $440,000 as presented in the estimates. Those rivers were Coolibestry, Castle Comfort, La Ronde and Pichling. Dredging and river training of the Rosa River is also accounted for in the supplementary appropriation.
The Honourable Minister is confident that residents in these areas are now able to sleep peacefully during heavy rains, and that is because of the extensive work done along the island to prevent a repeat of the devastation caused by Tropical Storm Erica. Meanwhile, work continues. And that's news. Your tip of the day is next.
There is a silent, invisible killer in our midst. A killer which largely goes unnoticed as it plies its deadly trade. Its name is second-hand tobacco smoke, which has a far greater impact on persons inhaling this poison than on smokers themselves. Second-hand tobacco smoke is especially detrimental in public places and negatively impacts our national health as well as public health expenditure. Stop this invisible killer now. Say no to second-hand tobacco smoke in public places. A public health message brought to you by the Ministry of Health and the Pan American Health Organization.
Here are the activities coming up this week for the independence season. The Miss Wabduyet pageant is at the Old Mill Cultural Center on Thursday from 8 p.m. Entry fee $40. Creole Day is on Friday, October 28th. If you haven't purchased your national wear, now is the time to do so. Patronize the vendors in the city. The 19th edition of the World Creole Music Festival is from Friday, 20th October to Sunday, 30th. Call the Dominica Festivals Committee to find out about your ticket prices. And Creole Board La Mer is also on Sunday morning. That's all for this edition of the National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica, and follow our Twitter at GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on our past National Focus newscast on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. Live streaming is also available on our YouTube channel 24 hours a day. From all of us here on the GIS News Production team, I'm Lourianne Graham Carter. Thanks for watching and join us again next time on National Focus.